You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. And when two lovers woo, they still say I love you. On that you can rely. No matter what the future brings as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate. That no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. Moonlight and love songs, never out of date. Hearts full of passion, jealousy and hate. Woman needs man, and man must have his mate. All that no one can deny. It's still the same old story, a fight for love and glory, a case of do or die. The world will always welcome lovers as time goes by. You must remember this.
Thank you very much. Tony's rocking on the piano, ladies and gentlemen. Getting the drive with him.
Travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a great way to start off the birthday tribute to the fantastic Mr. Kevin Mahogany, jazz vocalist extraordinaire. Wow. He was born in 1958 and he left us in 2017. Gone too soon. But I just am so honored to be here tonight. And I welcome you and thank you for being here, those of you who are listeners. This is a listening party. So celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. You listened to Route 66, and if you notice, it was on the Amtrak train. Back in 1995, I remember when this little fad became kind of popular, and Kevin obviously was a master at it. Also, for those jazz vocal students, I always talk about a toolkit. And you could hear Kevin sing and use the toolkits in his voice. I mean, did you hear that little roar toward the end? Won't you? I mean, he really belted it out. And then, of course, he started out kind of smooth. So this was the essence of Kevin Mahogany, an awesome musician. Well, that was a great way to introduce. I want to thank the Miami Jazz Co-op for giving me the opportunity to do this listening party. And don't forget that we are present online, even though we don't have live performances right now, but we are present online Monday and every Thursday. Mondays, Conversations in Jazz with Wendy and Nikki. And then on Thursday, listening party, different host every week. And I am just thanking God that I'm one. This is my first time doing this, so I'm excited. Kevin Mahogany, when he was a child, he was born in Kansas City. I think a lot of people know that. For those of you who aren't familiar with him, he's one of that Kansas City tradition traditional musicians. There's a real strong tradition there in jazz. And he's, as a child, he started out on piano. He's born to working class parents who believed that music was very important. So he had a piano, and then he went to the clarinet, then to the and finally found his voice as he got into, I think, senior high school. He was ambitious and he was encouraging. In a conversation with me and my husband Joe, we met him at the Hard Rock after a concert, and he was so kind. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. He formed a group when he was a young man, the Apollos. When he left and came back, went away to college and left and went back to Kansas, and he formed this group, R&B group, the Apollos. And I think the name of the other group was Mahogany. And then he started getting gigs with bands in Kansas City. I'm going to stop right there because I have a wonderful guest who stayed up late just for us. Miss Julie Silvera has checked in from Germany. And
Hello.
Julie is bringing another perspective about this great musician that we're honoring tonight. She was his student at the University of Miami,
Yes.
and his friend. And they came in as a match set. So I'm talking about, Kevin and Aline Mahogany.
Yes.
And I've met her in a very unusual way. I'll have to tell you about that later, okay?
Okay.
But because this is your time, I just want you to talk a little bit about your experience with Kevin, how you met him, and, a little bit about what he taught you and your relationship with him.
I'll tell you this. First of all, it's such an honor to be here, and hello to everybody in the United States from a very dark and sleepy Hamburg, Germany.
Tell them what time it is, Julie, over there.
It is 10 minutes past 2 o'clock in the morning. Jazz musician hours.
Thank you for being
Except,
here.
In quarantine times, day is night and night is day. But I heard about Kevin for the very first time when I was a student at Washington State University. And one of the professors there, Horace Young, says, there's a man coming to perform at the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival. You need to go and hear him. And I remembered another student friend of mine handed me a bootleg, please forgive me, but a bootleg copy. I bought it, for the record, later, of Double Rainbow. And I inhaled that record. And at the time, it was for me, Ella and Sarah and Nancy and Carmen and Betty. So this was the first male voice outside of Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross that I was really listening to. And I was blown away. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm excited. Washington State University was just 8 miles away from the University of Idaho in Moscow, Idaho, where the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival would take place. And it was a big deal for us. And every year, my teachers just knew not to pay any attention to me. I would be gone that week. And I remembered sitting in the front with Horace and hearing him speak and going, he's going to be my teacher. I said it just like that. And at the very end of the workshop that he gave, I remembered meeting him and shaking his hand. And somebody from the school newspaper took that picture. And I still have it today, the moment when I met him. And I remembered when I was getting ready now, I finished my master's degree and I was considering my doctorate and where I wanted to go. And at the time he was teaching at Berkeley, I think, or Boston Conservatory, maybe one of those. He was somewhere in Boston. And I just couldn't bring myself to go to Boston. I ended up going to the University of Miami, and lo and behold, a year later or so, there he was. And not only was he my teacher, but I got a chance to be his teaching assistant, and I got a chance to get to know him as a person. And then my further joy is to know Aline. And my husband, Mark, and Aline became very dear friends. They had much in common. And I can't think about Kevin without thinking about Aline, of course. I can still hear both of their voices in my head, having hundreds of memories of laughing with them.
Can we show
Um,
those pictures that you sent?
oh
They're
yes,
so
of course.
beautiful. Yeah. There you are with Kevin. Now,
Yes.
where is Julie and what's happening? Do you
This
remember?
is actually, I do. This was at a place called Tavolino's in Coral Springs, and that was my birthday. And it was the last birthday that I celebrated in the United States before I made the trip to Germany the first time. So every other birthday I've celebrated here. And he came, he and Aline came, and he sang for me, Happy Birthday. And let me just tell you something about how special that moment was. He came up on stage and he surprised me so much to do that because that was not like him. Sometimes it was really hard to get him to do anything when he was in the audience. You know, he's like, no, 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 no. But
I have to tell you something about that. I was singing at Soika, and I happened to look up, and there was this young man, and he looked vaguely familiar. Now I think I had only seen Kevin once,
Mhm.
you know that just that one time that we met up at the after his show. So from a
Uh-huh.
distance, I said, "It kind of looks like Kevin Mahogany." But then, and I gestured and did this, and the person didn't move. So I said, "Well, it must not be him." And do you know he ate and left?
Yes.
He ate and left.
That makes
I found out later it was him.
100%. Sometimes he comes and he wants to listen and he wants to
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
And, I always know when I get the look if it's okay or if it's not. And so when he came, it was so special to me that he came up on stage and sang Happy Birthday. And I promise you, I had that phone in my hand recording it only to realize I hadn't actually pressed the record button. So
Oh,
I
well,
have some,
the memory is sweet. The memory
but
is
it's
sweet.
very precious to me, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
And so he and Aline were there, and I think that probably that may have been the last time I saw them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, those photos are beautiful, and I really appreciate you sending them.
Oh, it's my
Um,
pleasure.
so, what did you learn from Kevin?
Oh my gosh. You know, first of all, you talked about at the very beginning about the blues and having the toolkit. I remembered it was super, super important to him. He would always say to me, make sure you have this in your pocket to pull out at any time.
Yep.
And it has really sort of changed because I perform, of course, now for a living and very often, usually. And there's nothing more wonderful than being able to pull this out of my toolkit. And I remembered, I was in anticipation of this evening's conversation. I was trying to think, because I knew you were going to ask me this question. And I remembered, I want to share a story with you, if I may.
Please.
He used to have a studio, I don't know if you know, a recording studio that was eventually destroyed by one of the hurricanes. And he lost a lot, and it was very, very sad. But
Hmm.
while it was existing, I remembered I used to go there quite often with he and Aline and Mark, and he had this big filing cabinet full of music. And if you ever want to make me emotionally and mentally salivate, just show me. And I would, can I go through it? And
Oh my
inside of it
God.
were all of these songs that he had sung and all of these
Wow.
tunes that people had sent him. It was like a gold mine. And it was from inside this drawer that I pulled Little Sherry and Dat Dare and Panonica and
Mm.
oh my goodness, the Mingus tune Eclipse that would
Mm.
eventually become a part of me. And of course, I love them because he had recorded them on Double Rainbow, again, my favorites.
Mm.
And Dat
Mm.
Dare was always, I sing that song now in my sets as a dedication to his memory because I loved
Yeah.
so much how he did it. And I've brought in all blues. I sing these specifically for him. And so I
Yes.
still can clearly remember the way that the light shone in the building, the way I sat on the floor because I don't sit on the floor, the way I hungrily went through that filing cabinet.
Oh.
And he was so happy that I did that. To him, it was a sign that I wanted to learn. And
Yep.
he was the kind of teacher that told you, but also guided you. We
Yes.
didn't always agree. I had to sometimes fight for the
Mm-hmm.
choices that I made,
Mm-hmm.
but I learned to make my arguments with him. I learned
Excellent.
to know why I believed what I believed and know why I wanted what I wanted. You can't get that just about anywhere.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
super special. And,
Mm.
when I was getting ready to do my last doctoral recital at the University of Miami, that was where I did this music. And that moment in time is still with me because of him. And so, with each subsequent student that I've taught, he is their musical grandfather
Yeah. Yeah. That's
because
awesome.
he's
Because
getting,
he's your
yeah,
musical father. Yeah.
yes. And
That
I'm
is
so
phenomenal.
privileged to have had that and to have experienced him as a person and to experienced Aline. She was such a troublemaker. I love her. I miss her. She used to start stuff and she was like, and she loved it. Julie, did you hear about, did you talk about, did you? I'm like, Aline. And she did it and it was, I miss it so much. And
Oh,
she was his champion.
yep.
She was his biggest fan, his
Yep.
photographer, his source. They were a set. They were a
Yes, they
team.
were. Yes, they were.
And so for me, Kevin is Kevin, Aline is Aline, but they are, you know,
They were the yin to each other's yang.
exactly. And what an
Yeah.
actually joy, what an actual privilege to have had the time that I had with him. I knew he was going to be my teacher. I knew it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm so glad that you tuned in to do this with us
It is.
because there's no way that I would have ever heard this, or known this about him. As I said, I did not know him very well. Everybody that I called to do this with me, they know him better
Mhm.
than I did. All I knew was that he was a gentle giant. He was kind.
Yes.
He was kind to me because when we met, he said, he started talking about, well, the only reason people don't know about you like they should is because you're not a prolific recording artist. I'm a recording artist. I'm not a better singer than you are. And he just went on. And he started talking to me. So you need to record.
Yes.
And I'm standing
Him.
there. I'm a fan. I'm just standing. My husband
Yes.
and I standing there going, okay. And he's teaching. Giving advice at his own concert. I'm like, well, this is a wonderful human being.
Right.
And then,
And he, oh,
and
sorry.
he
Go
was
ahead. Sorry.
kind enough to speak good words about me to
Yes.
some people who actually booked me on a concert with him later on. So, and I thanked him and Aline for that because, that was very kind. They didn't have to speak kind words
No.
about me. They really didn't know me, as a person. They just heard something, but they
No.
were kind.
Yes.
That goodness is what made me want to do this tonight. So I
Yes.
thank you, Julie. Are you ready to go
It
to
is.
bed now, baby?
I have to tell you, there's a good chance I'm going to probably watch the rest of this while I'm in
Oh,
bed.
well, it's such a joy having you. I miss you so much. I
I
miss
miss you.
you. My
You
house, my home
know,
misses you. Yes. And
for
we have
the
to go ahead.
for the co-op community, when I first arrived in Miami, this woman, Brenda Alford, invited me to her concert and then invited me up on stage. I remember that night very clearly too. We never get to where we are by ourselves. We never do. We do by the love and the guidance of people around us that see something more in us than we see in ourselves. That's what Kevin did, and that's what you did, Miss Alford.
Well, God
And I
bless
love
you,
you.
sweetheart. I love you too. And I
I
know you're
love you.
doing it. I know you're doing it as well. I
And
know
hope be
you're doing
passing
it.
it on.
Yes, you're paying it forward. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Julie.
so
I'm going to say
much.
good night to you so you can
Good
get a little
night.
bit of rest. And moving right along. Those pictures were fabulous. I just want to tell you a little bit more about Kevin because Julie mentioned where he was teaching and all of that. He After he went, oh, I wanted to share with you. I knew it was something I wanted to do. There's a reviewer who I've been hearing about, and he's communicated with me over at least 30 years. His name is Scott Yano. And he wrote a beautiful review on Kevin. It says, in the 1990s, there's been a serious shortage of male jazz singers under the age of 60, making Kevin Mahogany's arrival in his second Enja release quite noteworthy. A strong improviser who can not only scat creatively, but uplift lyrics, Mahogany may very well end up as a future poll winner. And he did win, I think it was a Downbeat poll or one of the magazines. He's joined on the CD by a 6-piece horn section and a strong rhythm section, pianist John Hicks, bassist Ray Drummond, and drummer Marvin Smitty Smith. Plus, there are guest appearances by altoist Arthur Blythe and guitarist Kevin Eubanks. The material, which includes Cedar Walters' Night Flight, Caravan, When I Fall in Love, and the title cut by Milton Nascimento, is challenging and diverse. And I just wanted to share with you just the general opinion that was arising about Kevin when his star started to ascend, and some of the male vocalists that he was compared with, and he did say influenced him: Johnny Hartman, Al Jarreau, John Hendricks, and Joe Williams. And right now, I want to talk a little bit about someone who was on a concert with me and Kevin at the South Miami-Dade Cultural Arts Center. Curtis Lundy, a homegrown talent from right here in South Florida, not far from where I live right now. Curtis Lundy, the bassist who played with Betty Carter, bassist who just held it down for so many wonderful people, including his own trio. He played on that very same concert. Nikki, can you show that poster of the South Miami-Dade concert? Are you there? There it is. And I keep this as a wonderful memento. It's a Mother's Day concert, Jazz in the Bay, and Bobby Watson, South Dade talent again, Miami talent, featuring, and then he featured on bass Curtis Lundy. And Curtis was there, and I got to meet him, had heard about him, and he's going to be playing on this next song that I'm going to let Nikki play. The name of the song is Chelsea Bridge, but that's going to lead us into our another guest who's coming on, Mr. Cyrus Chestnut. Again, Nikki, would you play Chelsea Bridge for us and show that cover of the CD with Curtis Lundy on bass and Cyrus Chestnut on piano. The name of the song, Chelsea Bridge. Yes, indeed. That was absolutely luscious. And if you were listening closely, you heard the dance between the bass and the piano, and then, of course, the brushes. This kind of music is what puts jazz in an echelon all by itself. This is what makes jazz lovers love jazz, this quality of music. And right now we have one of the top quality musicians coming on, Mr. Cyrus Chestnut. That was him that you were listening to. Hey, Cyrus.
Hey, how you doing? Wow,
Just
you
beautiful.
caught me on that one. Wow, wow,
Oh,
midnight.
yeah.
Wow,
Go ahead.
that was a special
Talk
session
about it.
there.
Talk about it.
Well, mind you, that is to date the only live record that I've ever done. It's the only live record. For years, I've been, trying to do live records in different places, and I was always told, "Oh, live records, no, nobody wants to do a live record." And so, at the time, Paul Stash at his record label, Smoke Sessions, said, "Hey, man, well, let's do a record. Let's do a live record." I was like, "Okay." And so Midnight Melodies was underscored as kind of a tribute to John Hicks, because of that rhythm section, the rhythm section of Curtis Lundy and Victor Lewis. I would always see, it was Lundy, Victor, and Hicks. Hicks with this ha, and man, did they swing! Oh my gosh, did they swing! And so to have the opportunity to, sit in the driver's seat of that special car, was just something.
So let me
And
ask you this. Were they chosen for you or did you choose them yourself?
well, gratefully, I was given creative control,
Okay.
and that's something I guess that I've been blessed with even from the very first recordings of you know of having creative control, and it's something that you have to fight for. It's not always freely given. Sometimes you have to, do this. But that was such a special time. That record. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Oh
as a
man.
singer, I can imagine how Kevin must have enjoyed himself when he
Oh
had, yeah,
wow. Wow. I
yes,
could probably think about it. I can probably stay
uh-huh,
on to almost tomorrow talking about this. Let me first mention about Curtis. I was blessed to be in the trio with Betty Carter when
yeah,
when Curtis Lundy did a stint, not the stint, back with the audience, but it was later on he came back and did a few gigs, and it was just special. It was a special, that the beat of Curtis Lundy is
yep,
something. It's special. I
yep,
mean, it's something that when you feel that thing, you say, "Oh my goodness!" All you do is just jump on the horse and ride. Jump on
uh-huh.
the horse and ride. But okay, Kevin. Wow, wow.
So tell
I
me,
don't
how
know.
did you meet?
We mean, I knew that question was going to come up. To tell you the truth, I've been thinking about it. We were on the scene around the same time, and I know that we probably crossed paths and did things. But I remember a record on Warner Brothers entitled "Another Time, Another Place." Matt Pearson produced that record, and
1997.
yes, and we got in the studio and things just clicked.
Now,
But after,
for that, was he chosen for you, or did you do the choosing, or do you
well,
remember?
this was Kevin's record.
Oh, so okay.
So this was Kevin's record.
So
So
did he call you, or the producer
yes, he
called you?
did. Yes, he
Uh huh.
did. Yes,
Uh
he
huh.
did. Kevin did call. Kevin
Smart
did
guy.
call. Well, it was
Can I tell
we-
people how wonderful it was to call you and have you come and play?
Oh, but
Yeah,
it was
we
very.
were together. Oh, this was beautiful, beautiful times.
Oh man, but you know, it blossomed from there. The our we had a common ground in the blues. You know, of course, Kevin. You know, Kevin is the blues, and I love the blues. So, anytime we got together, we knew that blues was coming. You know,
Yeah.
at times that we were on the bandstand, he would just say, "Okay, let's do B flat. One, two, one, and here we go." You know, or let's do E flat. Or he did. It wasn't necessarily you call a name of a song. He just said a key and counted the tempo.
And you
And
knew it
boom,
was
away
blue.
we went, away we went, you know.
Yeah.
With the back, with you know, with working in trio. Actually, and I was thinking about it. Um, we, I actually met Bernard. I met Pretty Purdy through Kevin, and it was in Asheville, North Carolina, at the Grove Park Jazz Festival. And I can't remember the name of the band, but all I know is I looked and I saw Pretty Purdy, and Purdy put that shuffle on me, and I wasn't right. I wasn't right. I could, you know, we've always had time. You mentioned earlier about Kevin is gentle, he's very gentle, very encouraging. But mind you, Kevin ain't take no stuff now. You know, stuff wasn't right. He let you know. He let anybody know. That ain't correct. You
Okay.
know, and so, so, and I think that's something that is very important. And I mean, that was an extension of what I saw from Betty.
Yeah.
Betty Carter ran her band. You know, it wasn't where the vocalist was had to fit his or herself into what the band was doing. Betty took the reins, and you either did what she did, and you either give it to her politely, or else it didn't matter where. If it wasn't right, she'd tell you. You know, and even
that commands respect.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As a
And even-
musician.
and even with Kevin, you know, that was on the bandstand and even off the bandstand. Betty was in charge,
Yeah.
and I say that to say because Kevin handled stuff. Kevin handled stuff. You just wasn't going to just put no anything. You know, sound people wasn't going to do anything because he was going to tell them, you don't bring that mess here. You know, and so that's something I fondly remember.
You know, people with high standards bring
Yeah.
you up with them.
Absolutely.
And that is to be appreciated. Can I
Oh,
do
yeah.
can I play a video? Can we do a video? I have you and your trio at the San Javier Murcia Jazz
wow.
Festival in 2007.
Oh wow.
Okay, and this is the blues centerpiece, and thank Nikki Orta, thank you for your technological wonderfulness, because I know I just took this out of order, but Cyrus just mentioned the blues,
Yeah.
and Nikki, it's the next video. Thank you, Nikki. I love you.
Right about now, we'd like to bring to the bandstand
Oh wow.
a great singer, a great person, and a person who's going to give you the blues in a real good way. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Mahogany.
How's everybody doing this evening? I said, how's everybody doing this evening? I said, how's everybody doing this evening? How about another hand for Cyrus Chestnut, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I'm with you, pretty baby. the more I feel my love increase. I'm building all my dreams around you. Our happiness will never cease. 'Cause nothing's any good without you. 'Cause baby, you're my centerpiece. We'll buy a house and garden somewhere along a country road of peace. Little cottage on the outskirts where we can really find relief. 'Cause nothing's any good without you. 'Cause baby, you're my centerpiece. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Say you let it do Bible and do Bible. So let it do it up Bible. Let it be double there. Lean it up, lean it up. Do video, do video, do pretty baby, the more I feel my love increase. Building all my dreams around you. Our happiness will never cease. 'Cause nothing's any good without you. So baby, you're my centerpiece. We'll buy a house and garden somewhere along a country road. Little cottage on the outskirts where we can really find relief. 'Cause nothing's any good without you. Baby, you're my center. You're my centerpiece. Thank you very much. The blues to get things started off.
Great.
Wow.
Wow is
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Yes. Come on,
That
talk
was
about
just-
it a little bit.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's like it was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's just bringing back so many,
Yeah.
so many beautiful memories, you know. Yep, we did. I think we did that. We did that. It was a tour, and man, it was just nothing but the blues. We had fun. We had fun. I mean, from the first note, you know. And it was conversation.
Yeah.
It's a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty about, you know, just jazz and the spirit of jazz, where you can simply have a conversation with a person. And with Kevin, it wasn't a, you know, we just traded ideas, and we sat down at the table and we just musically conversed with each other, you know? It was not only Kevin and myself, it was Kevin and the whole band, you know?
Yeah.
Kevin and the whole band, you know. The Desron Douglas, that was Desron Douglas on acoustic bass. And,
Yeah, let's show that photo as you talk.
And Neil Smith, you know, we're much younger in those days. There's no gray hair to be found, I don't think.
So wait a minute, which one is standing beside you?
Okay, so on the end, on the end, it would be let's see, that would be my right. The gentleman with the black shirt on, that's Neil Smith.
Right. Okay.
Next to Neil is Desron Douglas.
Okay.
And you know, that was the special times, you know, and that
Nice.
we did a lot of things. We played at Blues Alley together, you know.
Okay. That's,
Buffalo, New York, Duke de Lombard in Paris, you know. It was so funny. We did duo there, and no sooner than we finished the last note, I was putting on my coat, and I was walking out the club, headed back to the hotel. I got a phone call, says, "Hey man, y'all sounded great." It was back in the United States. I said, "How in the world you found that?" How? They've already put it up, you know, technology, you know. But, and then we have to also mention Kansas City, the movie Kansas City.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That gave me a whole different respect for cinematography. Kevin was the bartender, you know, singing the blues, you know, in that Robert Altman film, Kansas City, you know. And not only were we friends on the bandstand, we were just good friends. We would check up on each other. I remember at the time I was going through some life, you know, and he called me and says, "Man, you all right?" He says, "You know, don't you just disappear on me. You call me," you know. He was that type of person, you know. We kept in touch with each other, you know. I find myself personally, you know, on the scene, you have very few friends and a lot of associates, you know. And I'm very grateful to be able to call Kevin my friend, you know. A special man, special spirit. And we could go and talk, but the story is just best talked about how he just sang. That was the story. That was the story. You could find out everything about us by listening to that track, you know. Because
Can we do that Duke the Lombard video? The one with you and him as a duo? Yeah,
Sure.
I have that. We
Sure.
have that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Thanks, Nikki.
You must take the A train. You'll find that it's the quickest way you're gonna get to Harlem. All aboard to catch the A train. You'll find that it's the quickest way to get Sugar Hill way up in Harlem. Come on, hurry, get on board, it's coming. Can't you hear those engines drumming? All aboard to catch the A train. Find that it's the quickest way you're gonna get to Harlem. Go by that love. You be. But the look at the bubble, you die, but there. Bapadit, bapadat, bapadit, bapadat, bapadit, do they da, baby, bapadla. You got to look in it, put it up, put that, go to lit up the beat, but people that do, you that little, you baby that do. But look at it, nigga, to let up, but look at it. Back, but the Bob, little bit, put it up to the bear. Put it up a bit, did it to bed, do the bit, do but it, did the bit, do bit, dead or do. Baby, you put it down. Bap, that, you do that. But look at it, put it up to do, but if you want to plant your feet and you want to feel that beat, all you got to shout is, let me off uptown. Oh, yeah. Take the A train.
Oh,
That's the quickest way. You gotta get to Harlem.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh-wee. Y'all were on fire.
Yes.
F-Y-E-R, fire. But you said something that was really important because Curtis phoned in. There's some technical difficulty on his end, but he phoned in, and I asked him a couple questions, and he was saying that one of the most important things that he remembers is that he met Kevin coming by and sitting in with you guys. Well, with the band that he was playing with at the time.
Okay.
And that was so important. And the other thing, he said that exactly what you said. Kevin knew what he wanted to hear, made sure that everybody played what he wanted to hear, and knew what he was talking about.
Yeah,
he knew his music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and those are just for those people who are listening, who are singers or want to be singers. This is like classroom class. Okay, this is what makes it work. You hear how excellent. You hear the experts say, know what you're doing, know what you want, know what you want to hear, and make sure it's played. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Kevin knew what he wanted, and he was able to communicate to you exactly what he wanted. Yeah. You know, and so it's I think that's very important. At the end of the day, you know, we're all musicians. Mm-hmm. We're all musicians. Can we bring Nicole Yarling on?
And I'm bringing her on for a reason. Can she share the screen with us? Yes, there she is.
There I
Oh,
am.
Okay.
oh, we need to get some more light on you,
Uh-oh.
young lady.
What is that?
But I'm bringing her into this conversation because I don't know if you know, Cyrus,
Wow.
but a lot of our and that Nicole is a consummate
Uh-oh.
musician.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I
Can you
can't.
hear
I
us?
can't. Yeah, I hear you
it
guys.
was kind of digitized there for a second.
It was
Oh,
yeah. It
okay.
was a little strange.
It was like,
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, right.
We took it to another land, didn't we?
yeah, little digital,
That's okay.
It's
But-
funny.
But Nikki is a violinist, amongst other things, okay? And the musicians here have ultimate respect for her because she knows the music. And of course, and she is a singer. So with that kind of experience, I see the respect that is shown to her in the jazz community. Nikki, you have words to say about this? Other
Well,
than you can
first
say
I
I'm
wanna say-
wonderful.
Well, happy anniversary, Rick and Fran. Let me not forget to
Yes.
say that.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
Secondly, I want to say something about Cyrus. This is a funny story. He doesn't know this.
Uh-oh.
You were at WLRN doing a radio interview, and I was in my car, and I was driving somewhere, and I don't know where I was driving to. I was either driving up from South Miami, and you were talking to Ed Bell, and you were talking about where you grew, where you started, your origins. And you said, I started playing in church.
Yeah.
And I remember I was on 95 and I got off the highway because you said that and went to WLRN. Later on, and the reason this is so important to me is because I teach at an HBCU. And I said that because a lot of you know as well as I do, our tradition as African Americans is the oral, both oral tradition.
Yes.
We learn music a lot of the time by ear.
Right. Right.
Then we go to
right.
school and learn other stuff.
That's right.
But when you said that, I thought it was so important because I tried to get you to come to Florida Memorial. It didn't work out. And then I saw you again. We met again at a Gold Coast concert.
Okay.
But yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I think it's important that people know that part of the reason why, Kevin, you guys hit it off, because there's the blues in the music, but also the church in the music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's the stuff that, I don't care what kind of music you're playing, that's the stuff, you can play the most sophisticated harmonic stuff, but what it boils down to is when people play the blues, everybody gets it. The other stuff might go
Absolutely.
over your head,
Absolutely.
but when people play the
Well,
blues,
yeah.
everybody taps their foot and everybody claps their hands and everybody gets it. So I
Well,
I wanted
you
to
know,
preface that.
Well, you want to say, you want to make the simple sound complex and the complex sound simple.
Yes.
Simple
yes,
yet
yes.
complex, complex yet simple. And as you said, there's certain things that I've learned, growing up in church, and certain things, being on the scene. Certain things you learn on the scene that you learn on the street that doesn't necessarily translate in academia.
Yes.
That's right.
We know that.
So it's I grew up to cats talking about a pork chop groove, and so you go in the classroom, and the challenge is to try to put into academia what a pork chop groove is, or something like. Or something like, on the street. Once again, I remember the organist Dave Ross in Baltimore.
Yes,
Dave Ross.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a magnificent,
Yes.
magnificent organist. And one night I'm going to kind of go back in time. Y'all forgive me here. I was working for Harbor Cruises, and they used to cruise the harbor. Here comes the showboat, here comes the showboat, and all of that stuff.
Yep.
And one night
I was just
I
doing it.
finished.
Moonlight cruises.
Yeah. At one time, and finishing the cruise one night, I was so frustrated because it was a period where I really didn't want. I knew that it was time for me to get out of town, to get up to where things were happening. Anyway, I went to the Sportsman's Lounge in Baltimore, and that was what the
This
place,
is Brenda's territory. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
Did you say
Yeah.
the Sportsman's Lounge?
Yes, yeah.
That what you
So
said?
the Sportsman's Lounge, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so and I remember hearing the Dave Ross trio, and the one interesting
Yep.
thing about Dave only played in one key. Dave played
That's right.
F sharp, but he played the mess
He
out
tore
of
it up,
F sharp. Oh boy! And that one night I remember him. The one night I remember him playing. It was very spiritual to me, because everything was just on. It's like I could hardly keep my composure. So at the end of the set, we walked up to each other and he said, "Hey, young blood, you want to come play something?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "I can't play up there. That's holy ground up there. That's too safe, you know?" And I meant that. So I asked him, "How do you do it? Every song that you played was there. It was just on point. It was just perfect." And he got a serious face. And he says, "Young blood, you know when I start to play, I go searching for the groove. And when I find her, I hold on to her for dear life." We teach theory in school, but then a lot of what we do is about concept.
That's right.
And so we have to find a way of how to balance theory and concept.
Right.
Because if you just teach y'all theory with no concept, then all you have is 8 jazz etudes,
Amen.
And so
Amen.
you have
Yeah,
to
it's
find
my
a way
point.
to get people to understand. You talk about the tritone, which is the flatted third and the flatted seventh, or you can think about the tritone as the blues.
Right.
Concept once again. And so it's it can to be able to share that is important. And talk
Yeah.
about anywhere that you are, we have to always be able to teach and share our truth.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we should not have to be able to water down our truth as someone else to understand.
No.
Because, when you go to study Brazilian music, we're not watering down that,
No.
and any other culture. So, we have to hold on to our culture and hold it high, carry our banner high, and share our absolute truth,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
All the
so
time.
important. And that's the one thing that was about Kevin. It's like, that was truth.
Yeah.
That was truth. When he opened his mouth to sing, he sang truth. He
Yeah.
told a story. I was
Yeah.
there
Right.
at some of his master classes when he talked about telling the story and how he would jump into the derrieres of some of the singers who had like pyrotechnic things going on, but they didn't tell a story.
Let me
all
stop
of
you
that.
right there, because I
Okay.
skipped a song that is perfect for what you're talking about, where he tells the story. Up at the top of this, I talked about Bobby Watson. Well, I knew Bobby Watson was this burning saxophone player, but he wrote this ballad that and this is the one on the album that Julie said she inhaled, and Kevin is singing "Our Love Remains." That is a beautiful song. Nikki, can we get to that? Can you get to that for me? Just take a listen, because here he is talking.
Looking back on the years, on the pain and the tears that
would fall. Through it all, our love remains. People change, people grow. We're no different, this we know. But one thing stays the same, our love remains. Angry times, we've been through angry times that led us to something new. The anger ends in making love. We build our life on love to make it through. Only love gets us through all those times we're apart, building dreams and planning schemes we hope will grow. It's good to know our love remains. Angry times, we've been through angry times that led us to something new. The anger ends in making love. We build our life on love to make it through. Only love gets us through all those times we're apart, building dreams and planning schemes we hope will grow. It's good to know our love remains. Our love remains. Our love remains.
a comment about something.
Please do. Please do.
Being someone that sings and plays, the way I conceptualize things is I sing the way I play, the way I sing. Right? And I was listening to him sing this melody, and I know he played saxophone.
That's
Because
right.
when one night at the Van Dyke, we sat down and we didn't know each other very well, but we were talking. We were just getting to know each other because Chuck Bergeron worked with him, and my ex worked with him. And we were talking, and he said he played saxophone. And I always think about people that sing and play. My whole thing is, and this is just the world according to me for about 10 seconds, I honestly believe that your instrument is the vehicle. The music that you create comes from here and your experience, right? So you technically learn how to manipulate or maneuver around your instrument. You get technique. But the thought process and the notes you play or sing come from here and here. And when I was listening to him sing that melody, it sounded more horn-like. Very little vibrato. He held out long phrases. And it was really beautiful the way he stated the melody. And it was, because he can get, funky and gritty and sing the blues. But that was really beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
That's why I wanted to put that one in there. And he
talk
told
about
the story.
You talk about the toolkit.
Yes.
What a great example of using
Yes.
the toolkit.
Yes.
That's it.
Kevin is a master at using
Yes.
his toolkit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what fascinated me about listening to him. I listened to a lot of music just preparing for this, and the toolkit is exactly what it's supposed to be. It made me proud. What can I say? It just made me proud.
Yeah,
because go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying. You hear singers, and I love the word melisma because that's the new. When we say people sing runs, that's what church folks say. People sing all these runs and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the problem, and I say this to singers, and I don't really care, you may have an amazing instrument, and you may have all that facility, but when you use the facility all the time, it loses its effect.
There you go.
So if you save it, and you use it like, it's in your toolkit,
sparingly,
and you take it out, and you use it, the element of surprise is what makes things work.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Like
It's
you
that
can
kitchen sink mentality,
Yeah.
You start an intro and you hear this ooh yeah ooh yeah
There you go.
You done blow yourself out, But
There's
even
nowhere
one
for you
thing,
to go.
yeah. But then
Where
even
can you
the
go?
art. But one other thing about Kevin is he was a master at singing the melody. He knew
Yes.
melody.
Yes.
And that's something that's becoming almost, forgive me for saying, a lost art. People being able to sing a melody and deliver a melody.
That's right.
You try to sing somebody, it's like, wow, can I at least hear the melody one time?
And that used to be the rule. You used to have to sing the melody before you started improvising. Yep.
Yeah, it's like where give you
Wholeheartedly.
in the church you state your text. Okay? In the church you state your text. And then when you state your text, then you go on off to what you do. But if you start off going it's like, then where do you go?
There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
No.
You use up your whole toolkit.
And you know what? Don't get me wrong. I try to be. I'll be very open. Everybody has a different point of view. Understand it. But Tom McIntosh told me this, and it's another thing I always remember. Quick story, and I don't want to, but I think it's important to talk about storytelling. I was in the studio with Freddie Cole. You know, and that's you know. Anyway, so he was doing this one piece, and Tom McIntosh was an incredible trombonist, incredible arranger, and he wrote some of the most beautiful yet intricate things. And he wrote this chord in this one passage that I just didn't understand. So here I am in the studio with all of the deity of jazz, you know, and you know what? I'm not going to be too proud to say, look, I don't know
What
this.
is this?
Because you know, I ain't gonna mess this take up in front of all these cats. Oh no! So I went to Tom and I said, hey, look, Mr. McIntosh, you have a chord written here. I really don't understand what it is. So the academic side said, can you show me how this is voiced so I know how to play it? So instead of him telling me exactly, he says, I don't know much about nomenclature, but let me tell you the story of what's going on. And he told me the story, and the most weirdest thing happened. As he was telling me the story, I started hearing the harmony.
Wow.
I started hearing the harmony, and
Wow.
and I was able to get through it. And you
Yeah.
know, later on, I had a chance to sit down with him, and this is one thing that he said to me that I always remember
Wow.
to this day. He says, "Young blood, always learn how to tell a good story. For if you can tell a good story, you'll never have to worry about your career, because everybody loves a good story."
Everybody. Isn't that something?
And so that's, you know,
Wow.
Kevin's master storyteller. He's a master storyteller.
That's
He's a
it.
master storyteller, you know. And we talk about Aline, you know, I call her Sister Shutterbug because, you know, it's a period of time she had a camera, boy.
Good.
And I was calling myself trying to take a couple pictures, and, you know, I just, it was interesting. I was going through some photos, and I ran across some pictures. I was like, wow. You know, because
She had a great eye.
yeah, oh my gosh. And you talk about team, oh man, you know,
They retired.
She
that
had a
was,
show at WDNA. They had
Wow.
an exhibit at WDNA of her work. She was really, really beautiful eye.
yeah, she was
And-
truly
and-
she was truly the wind beneath his wings.
Yeah. I know that they were kind of like, they were a pair. They were
Oh, yeah.
inseparable. And it was funny because that picture, Brenda,
Oh, yeah.
I gave you.
Yes, there's a
I
picture
had
of her.
more. And for the life of me, I don't know what happened. That day, we do that workshop in the afternoon at WDNA, right? And my brain is Sheila Jordan was in town to do a concert. And she came by and she hung out with the kids. She was funny. She was hilarious. She was a hoot. And she hung out. We took pictures. I don't know. I have to find all these pictures, but I have them. And I told her I had something else, but I told her I would come back to the show. And so I came back and I brought my camera with me. I was sitting on the floor. That's why that picture is that angle. I
It's
was
a
sitting in
beautiful
front of
picture.
them.
That's
And I had a
beautiful.
ton of these pictures. He was in the back. Aline, they were together. And he got up and they did like a song or two together. And I was shooting from the floor. And then
wow.
soon after, Aline passed away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a short period of time. And then Kevin soon after, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really crazy.
Oh, wow.
But whew. Well, I'm loving this conversation, and while I have the two of you here, I chose this song because I didn't even realize that Kevin had recorded it, and I loved this song that was played by a guitarist. West Coast Blues, was it? I think it was West Montgomery, and he recorded this. Yeah, and see, you knew, right? And you knew, and this level of excellence. I mean, he knew how to pick material that jazz lovers loved, and I feel like if he was still with us, that he would have remained on this trajectory, because what he did was he became an entrepreneur. He set up his own label.
That's right.
Because, you know, you talked about Warner Brothers. Well, while he was with them, I saw where some of the things looked a little commercial, you know,
Right,
at
yeah.
one point. But when he did Mahogany records, Mahogany music, then he was in the jazz vein, in the pocket. So I wanted to play this one, West Coast Blues, because I figured you would know this, Nikki.
I got a baby on the East Coast, at a gig going on the West Coast, suitcase full of sorrows. I'm so tired of paying traveling dues. I'm lonely in the evening. No good make-believing anyone else could make me happy like my little darling. One of these days I'm gonna pack my bags and go way back home where I can see my baby on the East Coast. I got the blues. I got a baby on the East Coast, gig going on the West Coast, suitcase full of sorrow. I'm so tired of paying traveling dues, 'cause I'm lonely in the evening. No good make-believing anyone else could make me happy like my little baby. 'Cause one of these days I'm gonna pack my bags and go way back home where I can see my baby on the East Coast. I got the blues. I got a baby on the East Coast, a gig going on the West Coast, suitcase full of sorrows. I'm so tired of paying traveling dues. I'm lonely in the evening. No good make-believing anyone else could make me happy like my little darling. 'Cause one of these days I'm gonna pack my bags and go way back home where I can see my baby on the East Coast. Yes, where I can see my baby on the East Coast. Gig on the West Coast, suitcase full of sorrows. I'm so tired of paying traveling dues, lonely in the evening. No good make-believing that anyone else could make me happy like my little darling. 'Cause one of these days I'm gonna pack my bags and go way back home where I can see my baby on the East Coast. I've got the blues. I wanna see my baby. I got to see my baby. I've got the blues. I've got the blues.
Mercy.
Yeah. Well,
He also had a
it was-
great sense of time.
Yeah.
That's what
oh,
I'm talking
gosh.
about. He had the whole package right
Okay.
there.
Now,
I never missed the one.
Now, was that Dave Stryker? I'm not sure if that was Dave Stryker playing guitar.
I wondered, it's
Well-
funny because I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
When you mentioned Dave Stryker, I thought it was
Yeah.
Kevin Eubanks.
Oh, that could
But-
be. It's the earlier. That's the earlier part.
Yeah.
Earlier piece that could be. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
cause
That's
he
kind of
and-
what I have written, but who
Yeah.
am I?
Because no, you're probably right. But I just think about Stryker because there's a great body of work of where with Dave Stryker and Kevin
Yeah.
Mahogany. And I guess if at any point in time again you would do something like this, talking about Kevin, you might want to reach out to Stryker because
Yeah.
they spent
Believe
a
me,
lot of
I
time
wrote that
together.
down. Yeah. Do you know him, Nikki? You know
No,
Dave
I
Stryker?
don't, but I know that
Okay.
they recorded a lot together.
Okay.
Yeah,
They did. A
they
lot.
had, yes.
I don't know.
yes.
I've never
That's
had
a
the-
good piece of information for me to have.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. So, what I wanted to now, Cyrus, you said you were kind of on a time constraint. How are we doing on time?
I'll give you. I think I could pull out about
Because I'm
another
enjoying
10.
you.
I
Yeah.
could-
Well,
I
I'm
could pull out
enjoying
another
you.
10.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
really
en-
enjoying this. By
Yes,
the way.
This is
yes.
Really loving
great.
this.
And it's really, we really don't have that much more to do. Because I pulled up a Johnny Hartman tune that he did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because he got
Yeah.
on that road.
That's
And
right.
I was,
yeah. Uh-huh.
yep, he decided to follow that road. And
Yeah, because he was also talking about doing some different things on Motown as well. If I'm not
well,
mistaken.
he did something earlier.
Didn't he? Yeah. I thought
He did
Yeah.
something earlier. Let me look at this. I have a discography list. He did. There was Pride and Joy that he did in 2002, and that had some Motown stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Marvin Gaye.
Yep, yep. I
'Cause
think
that's-
that was the one where he.
That's
That
the
was the
most
one where
special
he did
thing.
some of the Motown
I just keep
stuff.
thinking. I just keep thinking about Kevin and just how the fact that, whatever he did, he connected to it.
Yep,
He was connected to it,
he
and
plugged into the circuit. Yep.
yeah, and he shared with you his heart, soul, and spirit. It wasn't an exercise. It was art. It was
you
art.
go.
It was healing. It was a necessary balm. If you would go to hear, I was on the bandstand with him for a period of time, and I tell you the truth, when I came off the bandstand, I felt better being around Kevin,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
It just,
that's art.
it was just it,
Yeah.
Music. When you talk about Kevin Mahogany, you talk about music. He made music, and the body of work that he has. I don't have to say it. You can just play the music, and
Yeah, I mean, my mentor was Joe Williams.
Oh, wow.
And the only reason I didn't want to bring Joe Williams up in a Kevin Mahogany, but it
Yeah, I
was
have
about, it was just about people bearing their souls, on stage and not unashamedly just saying, "This is who I am. I hope you like it."
Yeah, that's
And-
it.
That's what it is.
That's
and
it.
the people that get it.
That's true.
And if I learned anything in this lifetime, that's what I learned. The thing is,
Excellent.
you get up, if you are true to yourself
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
and you get up and you do what you do,
Huh?
people know honesty and people know integrity and people know when you love what you do, and that's what they read.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and nothing else matters.
Yeah,
you
that's
could
true.
you could have the worst night in your entire life. But if you get up
Yep.
and you perform that night from your heart and your gut, people feel that.
Yeah.
And you may say, "Oh my God, I sounded terrible," but somebody's gonna come up to you and say, "I felt that."
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know,
for
and I
sure.
think that
That's
that's
really
what
nice
Kevin
thing.
had.
For
That's
sure.
it right there.
You know,
For
and that's what
sure.
Joe had.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
well, that's just it was so
And
much
that's
truth
what
in
you
this
have.
music. It's so much truth in jazz. It's so much. It's so I mean, it's not pretentious. Jazz at its finest. It's about
Yeah.
truth. It's about
Yeah.
truth.
Well, it's
That's
funny.
it.
I tell you this, and I'll try and make it really short. Somebody had asked me to do a lecture on Monday, and I teach history, but I didn't want to teach history. I wanted to talk about the art of listening, which is a whole nother animal. Because I just for young jazz musicians to listen, that's a whole nother subject. But I started thinking about why it's important learning when you learn music. Like you can learn classical music, and you're going to get technique, and you're going to learn repertoire, and that's where it ends. Because somebody is telling you, this is how you play Mozart. This is how you play Beethoven. You are not supposed to play this any other way, unless you are a virtuoso, and then you can take it, wherever you want. But I was thinking about this. But with jazz, when you learn technique, you learn theory, you learn mechanics, you learn how music works. And you can apply that. And nobody's going to tell you that's all you do. You have to sound like Monk, or you have to sound like Duke Ellington, or you have to sound like McCoy Tyner. You can learn all those different styles and develop your own. That's the difference to me between the two styles of music. And I had to think this through because I'm trying to explain why it's important to listen to music to these young kids.
But
And-
the crazy thing is there is a school of thought where the repertoire is like big. It's like you got to play this person's solo or whatever. And the reason why I say that, I remember talking with Dr. Rupert Stone in Baltimore.
Oh, Rep.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
I'm
wrote
sorry.
my recommendation letter for University of Miami.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta go
Wow.
there. Well, you got some home people here now.
Yes, Rep.
So
Bye.
the reason I talk about Stone was forgive me, Nikki, but we used to walk around Lake Montebello, okay, and sometimes I would walk and I see Stone, and I said, Dr. Stone, how are you? He says, hey, young blood, how you doing? And I knew for a fact that was going to be at least about a half hour or 45 minutes of my time.
He was so nice.
Yeah,
He was
you're
so
very-
nice.
But he said this. He says, "Young blood, now jazz
Uh-oh.
is about creation, not recreation." And he broke it down. He says, "Now Miles and Diz, they created." And so I'm gonna leave it right there. But it was just like one of those things that hit me. It's like. And once again, it took me back to Betty Carter about jazz is about finding out who you are. So yes, Nikki, you learn all of the tools, but you learn what's in the box.
Yep.
But you want to always keep the panels open for
That's
fresh air to come into the box. Excuse me for
Right.
speaking in analogies. That's how I
Oh,
learned.
that's perfect.
That's
perfect.
how I learned, on the street, we learn concept, the cats talk to me in concept. So
Yeah.
you know,
And it makes sense to me.
yeah, yeah, you know.
Maybe we're
Makes
both
sense.
a little.
But seriously, you wanna keep the box open for some fresh air to come in the
Yeah.
box. You know,
Right.
you have your foundation, you know, so that you could stand on it and soar, not just be locked in the box and wearing your
Right.
pork pie hats, you know, and saying, "Hey, Daddy-O," you know.
Yeah.
No,
really.
no,
It's nothing wrong.
no.
It's nothing wrong with.
Posturing.
Yeah, it's nothing. You know, I mean, but it's just like if. You know, this music is about now. You know, the Cats played it for now, and even when they
Right.
played the music, they were a lot in
Ex-
many ways ahead of their
You're
time.
That's
You're
And
right.
so we have to take we have to take our foundation, the foundation that's been laid by our jazz parents, and then
Yes.
we have to move on. You know, and
No,
there's certain
I agree
there's
150%.
certain things in the DNA that can't be left, you know.
Yeah.
No.
You know, if anybody who come to me and say, "Oh, you don't have to swing," that's fighting words for me.
that right.
You know,
No,
you gotta
it-
groove. You gotta
Yeah.
groove. You know,
Yeah.
I'm coming out of Dave Ross. You know, coming out of all of these Curtis Lundy. You know, all of
Yeah.
that's like cats. You
No,
gotta Ray Bryant. You know.
I just wanted to make the point because I really had to think this through because if I'm talking to somebody for 45 minutes an hour about listening,
Yeah.
a lot of the time people gonna go, okay, I get it in the first 5 minutes. They think they do.
Yeah, they
But
think they
if
do.
you really think it through, because I've been teaching at a camp every summer except this one, of course, where I was working with classical violinists, and they were, from time to time, and these are people with incredible facility and everything, and they said they were bored. And I asked why? Because I'm bored with the repertoire. I want to do something else, right? So if you're in this lane and all your life people taught you
Yeah.
visually to read music and to get technique
Yeah. Yes, I was
And-
that
and
studying.
to put up the guardrails, that
Yep.
doesn't happen in jazz.
Yep, studying.
That's the beauty of jazz.
Studying at the Peabody Preparatory. You know, I spent a lot of time in the Calmus edition, the Shermer edition. You know, though that yellow book and all. And but here's the one thing I like this. I always try to challenge just musicians in general. You know, a lot of people figure that improvisation is just a quote unquote jazz thing. But if you know a scale, and if you know what a quarter note, an eighth note, a triplet, and a 16th note is,
Yep.
and if you know that, then you should be able to create something in yourself. You know, I think you have to like reconnect. There's that analytical side of where, but then we got to also reconnect the creative side.
Yes.
You know, and challenge those musicians. You know, say, "Oh, I can't improvise." I said, "All right, play a scale." All right. So once you play that scale, you know what the scale is. Then now play a few notes. Play a couple notes. What notes? I don't care. Whatever you hear, play.
Oh, I
And
hope
then-
I have a friend who should be listening to this right now.
You know,
Yeah.
challenge and challenge, and because now what happens is we because improvisation, you know, takes a lot of faith. And you know you have to almost in a sense put your heart out there. You have to be very vulnerable. You have to be willing to kind of slip. But then as you start to slip, then all of the knowledge that you've gained, all of like the harmonic and rhythmic things, you should be able to then auto-correct yourself.
There you go.
And even
Right.
even if you almost fall, you still have the knowledge. You still should have knowledge to be able to straighten yourself up.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's
if you
scary.
miss it
And
this
nobody
time-
wants to make a mistake. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to make a mistake.
And we
But
learn
hey,
from our mistakes.
yeah, but hey, you know what? We human beings.
That's
I
right.
like to say we are analog beings in the digital generation.
There
Well,
you
We're not
go.
ones and zeros.
Check it out. Check it out.
Well, let me stop you for a minute. Let me stop
Okay.
you for a minute because we're getting totally
Yeah, I
away
know.
from Kevin.
I know it's getting deep. I know it's getting
Talk
deep.
about this stuff.
I know
I
this
know
is
it's
good
getting
stuff.
deep.
It really
Yeah.
is.
But you know, but to
Go
bring
ahead.
to bring it back to Kevin is just like all everything that we're saying. You know, Kevin, he could go. His range was just immense. He could go wherever he wanted, wherever you know, Uh, he could take you down deep into the blues. He could then go take you into some train inspired stuff. I mean, he could do so many different things, but he knew how to do it, and every time he was in a moment of education, he made sure that people understood that,
What he,
and he
yeah,
challenged them to,
yeah.
come on with it, come on,
Yeah.
or come on and challenge yourself.
There you
I
go.
feel come on with it,
Come on with
but
But come on with it will work for me.
yeah, I know, but sometimes in academia,
No, but even all right,
We are at a
this
listening
is-
party now.
yeah,
This is tied to Kevin and tied to everything we're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
The important element in this whole thing is trust.
Yes, yeah.
Trust in yourself and trusting
Yes.
that it's okay to make a mistake and trusting that, people will go on the ride with you if you allow yourself
go.
to
That's
take
right.
the trip.
There
And
you
that's,
go.
and just as you said, sometimes when we think that we fallen and make a buffoonery of ourselves, there's somebody who's going to come and says, "Wow, that was just
really
the most
slick."
amazing."
Yep.
And you're like,
Yeah.
"Sir,
Miles said it. There is no wrong note. He said it out loud. There is no wrong note.
yeah." So
Miles
yeah.
said it. Miles
But
said
now
it.
let's we're gonna keep it focused. We're gonna
Okay.
we're not gonna
Back in
we're
the
not
box.
gonna because we'll be here till 3 and 4 in the morning talking about this.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I appreciate you
really
guys
is.
so much. I knew I had the right people. I just
Well,
knew
I'm
it.
so glad you asked me because I was like,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, what am I gonna? No, but wait a minute though. You need to tell everybody what your connection is with Kevin because I thought that was so funny. And
Oh.
she just one sentence. What did you do? Well, tell it.
Okay, all
Just
right,
tell
all
it.
right, all
Tell it
right.
like you said it to me.
So I teach at Florida Memorial, and
No,
around
say the first thing and then explain.
the dumpster diving.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
let me explain why. At Florida Memorial, there was Warner Publishing that used to publish all of these books, merged with another publishing company. They had a warehouse very, very close to Florida Memorial, a ginormous warehouse with all kinds of books and videos and just endless music. They gave us a lot of music. They gave away a lot of music because they were downsizing, right?
Wow.
But they also threw away a lot of music. And so Julie was here earlier.
Talking about how she
And
went
then
through the
we didn't get
file
to
cabinets.
share that.
Uh-huh.
So Julie and Kevin and I went dumpster. They gave us permission to dumpster dive.
Wow.
Love
So
that.
I mean, books and videos and just all of the stuff that they just chucked, just threw away.
Wow.
Instructional books,
Yeah.
music. Just, so
And it
we
seems
would
that
go.
that happens in education so much.
Why?
It happened to me when I was teaching in public schools. The books went out of what did they call it? They're supposed to last for 5 years, and once they were older than 5 years, they got thrown out. So you should have seen me dumpster diving. So when you
Yeah.
said that really
There's
hit
no
my heart.
shame in my game. None whatsoever.
You cannot waste a book.
But it was hilarious because I'm with the Kevin Mahogany.
There you go. There you go.
And we were
Wow.
dumpster diving.
That's
And I
right.
say that with pride.
That's right. That's
real.
right.
He would
Wow.
laugh about it too. But
I
it was,
love it.
I mean, it was a great opportunity just to hang. We went and got food afterwards, but we dumpster dived.
I think that's
Dumpster
fantastic.
dove. Dumpster dove.
To say it
Even
correctly.
though it-
Yeah. But no, I feel you. I feel it.
Oh, man.
All that good
No.
stuff going to waste. But listen, let me play this one tune because I wanted to mention. Well, I think I did. That Kevin went on this Johnny Hartman kick. He did two
Yeah.
CDs. He did one called "To Johnny Hartman," and the other one is Kevin Mahogany. And both of those were on his label. I don't know if they were released commercially or not, because when I went to look for them online, I couldn't find one on sale. But he gave us a copy and signed it, and told us a happy birthday. Got to see him.
Wait,
And
big
so he
too
gave
bad.
us a copy, yeah. So I sent it to Nikki. And listen, I think the one, yeah, the sings part. Well, our own film is playing.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, yeah. But the other thing is that there, what was I going to say? Oh, I found a video with him singing the same song.
Okay.
And so Nikki's going to play that video right now of Kevin Mahogany singing Johnny Hartman, My One and Only Love. Telling that story.
The very thought of you makes my heart sing like an April breeze on the wings of spring, and you appear in all your splendor. My one and only love. The shadows fall and spread their mystic charms in the hush of night, while you're in my arms. I kiss your lips so warm and tender. My one and only love. Touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. The blush on your cheek whenever I speak tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender. My one and only love. touch of your hand is like heaven, a heaven that I've never known. The blush on your cheek whenever I speak tells me that you are my own. You fill my eager heart with such desire. Every kiss you give sets my soul on fire. I give myself in sweet surrender. My one and only
Just so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Wow. Listen, guys, we're coming down to the end of our evening, and I happened to look over here. I clicked on comments. You know, I'm not technologically savvy, and it's a whole lot of people that are watching. So,
Yeah.
to our audience, thank you. I even
Hi,
got
audience.
a friend on here from third
Oh,
grade.
wow.
Okay, actually from elementary school. I'm gonna shout him out. Douglas Miles. I am just thrilled. My cousin, and then there's Nicholas Bright. Hello. Oh, and Lisa Richards.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we got folks. Sheila Ford, Cyrus.
Oh yeah. She know about Dave Ross and F Sharp.
Yeah. I mean, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Wow.
Family, jazz family. You're here. You're in it. Okay, jazz family, thank you. We love you. Nicole Yarling, you are a blessing to our jazz world. Cyrus
Thank you.
Chestnut, you are a blessing to our jazz world. And Curtis Lundy, I know you might be watching because he called, we talked on the phone, and he left me his notes. And thank you, Curtis Lundy, for your input, your musical brilliance. And Julie from Germany, thank you so much. Julie is a superb vocalist. I mean, we have. I'm in the midst
What
of.
about you?
But yeah, that's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. Now, Brenda, you are a blessing to the
Thank
universe. You are a blessing to music. Thank you for
You're
being
beautiful
who you are.
inside, outside,
Yes.
musically, and otherwise. And
Well,
thank you.
You all just shut my mouth. But thank you so much. This has been beautiful. I love you guys. And just keep the music playing wherever you are, whatever you do, okay? God is good. He has blessed us all, and I'm so grateful.
Yes.
Now, I want to make sure.
Stay healthy. Stay healthy and wear
stay
your mask. Stay
Now,
healthy
yes.
and wear your mask.
I've got one around here somewhere. I keep them
you're in
handy
the
for
house.
y'all knuckleheads that won't wear them.
But let me say this before we go. I want to wish Nicole Yarling a happy birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow is your birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Letter. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
All right. You got it,
Yow.
Nikki. You got it. A happy 48th anniversary to Rick Katz, who is the executive director, Miami Jazz Co-op. Thank you for this opportunity. I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful way to keep jazz alive. Thank you, Miami Jazz Co-op. I see I got a message from the Sunshine Jazz Organization, and we're going to be partnering with them along with Gold Coast Jazz. Yeah, there it is, China SJO Vallis. We are going to be partnering with Sunshine Jazz. We thank you so much. We thank you, Jazz World. Jazz World, we love you. Now, I want to make sure that I do the announcement. So, Nikki, can you show me that flyer that I'm supposed to be reading from? There we go. Our partners coming up, Gold Coast Jazz Society, Sunshine Jazz Organization, and what is that in that oval there that I can't see even with my glasses on? Is that South Florida? Wait. There it is. South Florida Jazz. We're going to be collaborating with them. Then on Monday, August the 3rd at 8 p.m., one of my favorite human beings in the world, Carlomagno Araya. He is a brilliant drummer, arranger, composer, just all around awesome human being. Carlomagno is going to have his night with us on Monday, August the 3rd. That's this coming Monday, hosted by my darling Wendy Peterson and Nikki Orta, who is behind the scenes, but that's what his pretty face looks like in real life. So, guys, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for loving jazz, and God bless you. Stay safe, stay well, and keep that music playing. Take care. Good night. And here's something from Kevin Mahogany to play us out.
There will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with someone new. There will be other songs to sing, another fall, another spring, but there will never be another you. There will be other lips that I might kiss, but theirs won't thrill me like yours used to do. Oh, I may dream a million dreams, but how can they come true? 'Cause there will never ever be another you. That I might kiss, but theirs won't thrill me like yours used to do. Oh, I may dream a million dreams, but how can they come true? 'Cause there will never ever be, there will never ever be, there will never